Okay, we're on about the last step. It's getting close. So anyway, what we've got here is we want to go ahead and remove this is looking at the back of the motorcycle. This is the tire here, and this is the seat up here. I can't see it. There's the seat up the top there. Anyway, what this is, there's a plastic. It's a plastic like a mud guard on the back of the swing arm right here. You can see that. Anyway, there's two bolts that hold the top part of it on. There's one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that. This is I think this is a 10 millimeter box-in wrench. So go ahead and loosen that. Take that out. It's kind of hard to get your fingers in there. We'll go ahead and take that side out. Okay, you've mounted this in your bike, and I'm just going to show this outside the bike so you can see it better. So you've mounted this down in the bike. And then what I want you to do is I want you to grab this part right here. Now yours will be black. And then what you'll notice I did is I put beads of silicone in here. It's the silicone sealant that comes in your kit. Go ahead and put some big old heavy beads of silicone in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mount this on the bar that's just ahead of this bracket right here. So this is mounted in the bike, and then right behind here there's a bar that goes behind here on the bike. Now make sure that bar is nice and clean. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slide this over the bar, and it'll bolt up like that. So I'll show you how this bolts up here. So stay tuned. Okay, we've given you this bolt in the kit. And what I want you to do is I want you to bolt that onto this bracket here. And then you want to let that cure overnight so this silicone will dry. And then make sure that the slot down here is open, because that's where the fender will mount. So I'm going to show you where that fender will mount, and we'll be finished with this bracket. The reason we slot this bracket like this is so that when you remove the fender, you don't have to take the nut off. So the washer and the nut stay on the outside, and then what that does is it just slides up in the slot, and then you slide it over to center it on that slot. Like I say, that way you don't have to remove this nut. Just loosen it to get this, take the fender off. So that's how that'll work, and that's why you want to leave this slot open so they can slide that up in there. Okay, let's go ahead and get the front fender mount bracket in place. Now in your kit, you'll notice we gave you this. It's a Allen ball socket wrench. It's got the ball on the end. This is really a cool little tool, and it's necessary to put this bracket on. So anyway, you've got that. What I've done is I've gone ahead and used that with the 1/4 inch socket right there, and then I've used a 1/4 inch extension, and then hook all that to a 1/4 inch drive screwdriver handle. This is kind of necessary to get that bolt in there. I hope you've got this. I think this is the only one that you might not have, but hopefully you've got something that's similar that you can put in there. So anyway, you'll need that. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount that bracket right in there. So I'll move that camera right there. Okay, this is the bracket. Okay, this is the bracket here, and it has the notch on the left. Make sure it's got the notch on the left. Get it in the camera there. It's important that the notch is on the left. If it isn't, it won't work at all. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put the 6 millimeter Allen screw with a washer. Okay, go ahead and put that through the hole. Now, it's important. Let's put a little Loctite on this. We want to put a little Loctite on the threads there. You don't want that vibrating loose later. So we'll go ahead and put a little Loctite on there. Okay, with this menagerie of tool I've got here, I'm going to go ahead and put that. Hopefully it'll work the first time. I've got the ball socket in the screw, in the bracket. There again, make sure you've got the notch on the left side, right there. Okay, what you'll do, I'm right-handed, so this works well. I'll go ahead and put that down in there, and I'll go ahead and be careful to start that screw in there. Make sure you don't cross thread it. It should screw in there real easily when in the first time. I've got even with the tool this time. What I've done is, I'll show you what I did. I went ahead and taped all the stuff together, all the tools together, make it a lot more rigid. And I even taped the screw on the end there. That'll make it a little easier. So anyway, go ahead and put the washer on. The Loctite's still on there. Make sure the Loctite's on the screw. Okay, and then we'll go ahead. This hopefully will be a little easier. Oh man, what a difference. Hopefully you'll watch this video first and you can know you can do this on the other side. You could have done this on the first side and it would have been a lot easier. So anyway, go ahead and snug those up. Oh yeah, what a difference. Pull that tape out of there. Okay, the next part of the rear fender assembly will be to identify the struts, that the right and left strut that hold the fender on. So anyway, if you hold these struts together like that, you'll see that one is bent more than the other. Let me see if I can get them in the light just right for you there. Okay, see how one is bent more than the other? When there's the ones with the big bolts in them. So anyway, okay, the one that's bent more is the left side. So I'm going to set that on the left side of the motorcycle. And now I'm going to send the other one on the right side. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to mount the bottom of the strut first. So go ahead and, if you'll notice here that we've got the bolt and the washer on the outside of the strut, and then we have the internal star washer. That's next, and then the nut. Now I'm just going to use a regular nut on here to show you so I can speed things up. Anyway, take the nut and the star washer off. So that'll leave the strut with the slot. Let me rotate it around here. Okay, see how there's the slot. Okay, go ahead and just put that into that hole. That's the hole in the boss there. Oh, excuse me, I screwed up here. Okay, go ahead and put the star washer on the bolt like that. See the star washer's on that side? So you've got the bolt and the flat washer on that side, and then the star washer's on the inside. So go ahead and put that through the hole, and then go ahead and put the nut on the inside. You can just lay the strut on the ground there, facing toward the back of the bike. You can go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Get you a view of that. Basically that what we've got there. Okay, the reason that the locking star washer is on the inside is what that does is when this is rotated up and holding the fender on, when we tighten that up, that star washer will hold that strut in place. It's adjustable up and down, and so that, you know, once you decide where you want that, that'll dig into the metal and hold that strut wherever you leave it. So anyway, go ahead and lay that back down. I'll go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I've gone ahead and just lightly tightened the bottom bolts on these struts, just so that I can rotate them up to the top here so they'll stay. If you'll notice, this strut on this side and this on this side. That's a good thing, because we overbend these toward the center just for the reason that the bosses at the bottom of the motorcycle, they're not machined, they're just kind of cast into the frame. So there's a good chance that these won't come out exactly even, and we can kind of tweak those later. So anyway, that's a good thing. They're about both the same there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these nuts and bolts, and then I'm going to go ahead and install the front portion of the fender, which is here. You've got the washer, the nylock nut here, and the washer. You can go ahead and install it loosely like that, and I'll be right back to show you how that goes. I've gone ahead and installed the front fender into the bracket here. You can see how there again the notch is on the left, and we've got the nylock nut and the washer on top of the bracket, and you can see how that slides back and forth. So anyway, go ahead and just kind of, you might want to just lightly tighten that, just so it kind of keeps the fender centered on the tire. And then we can go ahead and hook up our rear strut. So this doesn't have to be need to be really tight right now. So anyway, we'll go ahead and show you how to fasten the rear struts, and then we're almost finished. Now this is how the rear fender struts fasten to the back part of the fender. If you'll notice, you've got this is a stainless steel truss head 1/4 screw that comes in your kit. Obviously, it was fastened to the struts. It has the rubber washer that's already slid onto the screw, so there's no problem there. Okay, now what I've done here is I've gone ahead and I've tightened all the strut bolts, top and bottom, and I've kind of snugged up the one up on the front there to get it centered on the tire. And boy, I've lucked out on this one. It's pretty close. It's just a little bit off to the left side. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and loosen the strut, and I'll go ahead and bend the right one just out just a little bit, not much, just at the very bottom there. Just give it a tweak. I won't show me actually do that, but what you want is you grab a hold of this and probably just pull it that way. You'll have to undo the screws first. It's kind of a pain, but you'll have to juggle this back and forth. But this one needs to be bent out just a little bit so that fender comes that way. So it's just kind of a matter of juggling things back and forth. And also the struts on the bottom, you can raise or lower either side to kind of center your fender on the tire. I've actually seen show bikes in magazines that the fenders are not even this close. But to me, it's really important to get that fender centered on the tire. It just looks so much better. We want to remove these one more time. I'm going to go ahead and remove the screws, and I want you to definitely put some Loctite on these, on the nuts on these, because if you ever remove your fender to change a flat or whatever, or change the tire, you want to take the struts off from the bottom and leave the top. That way these are Loctited and they'll never vibrate loose and come off. So anyway, Loctite the crap out of these so they never vibrate loose. Oh, and then go ahead and snug up your the nut on the front of the tire too. Make sure that stays centered. Okay, there's one more quick view of the rear fender, all tightened up and fastened, ready to go. There again, make sure you Loctite these. Make sure their bolts down here are nice and snug. Make sure this is snug here and centered on the bracket. And this is also, you can raise and lower this with the slots and the struts. So if your tire's a little bit bigger, raise it up a little bit. You want a decent amount of clearance in there. You don't want that fender to rub that tire, get too close. So anyway, that looks good.